You know what I
because
mean?
of potential. That's how I feel. Because of potential, and that is the reason why you might think, oh, we're facing Ipswich. You know, it's not end of the world if we don't get resolved. But to me, it's a big game. It is a big game because there's another opportunity for Palace to prove themselves at home. We've got that 2 wins over Villa, which is a good team, by the way, that 4-1 win. Got a win over Millwall. And now it's another opportunity for Palace to go into this game with, you know, kind of proving that they've turned the tide at home. So I think 3 wins in a row would give that belief as well. So hopefully we do manage to do that. But of course, we spoke more about Ipswich and the game's details in the match preview, which is out now, and opposition preview as well. So make sure to check that out. Let's start off with Glasner's press conference. All right, I'm gonna get this off my chest, and then we can move from there. First of all, this Mateta situation. I'm not talking about transfers, by the way. This Mateta situation that happened, the incident, it is getting to a level where it's annoying, and I think Glasner kind of showed that as well. They approached the press conference. They didn't even ask about team news. The first thing that was asked about is Mateta, which it makes sense. Is he fine? Is he fine? Yeah. And I'm totally for that. But then there's another follow-up question on Mateta. Glasner said it, and Mateta's confirmed it. Thankfully, he has no concussion. There's no fracture. It's just, you know, it was a nasty challenge. But Millwall fans still speaking about it. Like, I still see it on my timeline, and I'm like, thank God he's fine. That's the only reason why everyone was so upset. Thank God he's fine. But we've got, it gets boring. Just keeps talking about the same thing over and over again, especially if the player is fine. And we're going to get into the quotes as well. But it's just the fact that we can't talk about team news on here, because I think they ended up forgetting, which we'll probably find out at around 10:30, is wild to me. Because
I'm sure they talked about it in the embargo section. They had to.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be. You know, it's always you start with the team.
It's always the thing that comes first. So I think it was a little bit odd to not see it happen.
Yeah, and then Millwall are still I think it's more about Millwall as well. Millwall are still talking about it. I'm going on the timeline. People are still talking about Steve Parish and what he said. I think they've released another statement. I'm just look. I think the player got another extension to his ban, which I guess is good because it was a reckless challenge. But at what point do we say, you know what, Mateta's fine. Thank God he's fine. He's recovering, and just kind of leave it at that.
Just move forward.
It feels like he's dragging on and on and on.
Right.
He puts out the goalkeeper apologized to Mateta. Glasner confirmed it. I think Millwall confirmed it. And the ban has been extended to 6 matches. So it's got an extended ban as well. It's done. Move on.
And it's a backup goalkeeper.
Maybe I'm in a minority, but it's just like the game up. We've got so much bigger fish to fry.
He's a backup goalkeeper. It's not like he would be playing anyway. He's a backup.
Yeah.
A 6-game suspension. A 6-game suspension to a guy who won't be playing anyway. Like, move on. Who cares?
Yeah, all I care about is Mateta being fine. And he's fine. And he's fine. And we're going to start off with that because that was the first question that came to Oliver Glasner about Mateta. And Glasner did confirm that he is recovering at home. No fractures, no concussion. He's healing, going as well as expected. He should join the squad for next week for the camp at Marbella, maybe do some individual training and hopefully be back for the Fulham game. Of course, that's our next game after Ipswich after the break. His mum, which is nice, has come from France to take care of him, and the club are happy with that. So, you know, there's no concussion, thank God. There's no fractures. There's nothing it's a nasty injury, but that's good though. It's good to hear that he's recovering well, and he should be joining the team next week as well on the trip to Marbella, doing some individual training, and hopefully be back for the Fulham game.
Yep.
That's the biggest positive. Eagles saying, I think if one of their players puts in that challenge, their chairman would be doing an interview. Yeah, but even after the game, I think Steve Parish done an interview on Sky and he toned it down a bit as well there. Like he's just done, like
it's done. Justice has been served. Our player is okay. Let's move forward.
Yeah. And Mateta, the biggest thing, no fracture, no concussion. It's a nasty challenge and he's healing well. And that's all.
He's going to miss one. When it's all said and done, he misses one match.
Yeah, one match. And the fact that he's joining the team to go and travel to Marbella
to train. He's going to be training. Yeah. And he's going to be in a position where he could play at the end of this month. Like, Okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And about Ipswich, he said the following. This is from Oliver Glasner's press conference earlier today. He said that we need to perform at our best to beat them. He's confident that the players will, after the breather and the rest against Millwall for a couple of days, which was needed as it was a hectic week. It was a hectic week. It's not just Millwall game. It's a Villa game. We had a Fulham game as well on that Saturday. It was a hectic week, but the vibes that I got from Glasner is that we were worried not just about the JP situation. It was just like so much that just went on during that week with the Millwall, with the Derby, FA Cup weekend, and the Villa game. That he gave the players a couple of days off, and the biggest positive is that from that couple of days off, he's saying he's very, from his tone as well, he's confident about this game, which is the biggest positive. Because how big is this game for you, T?
I mean, it's an important one. I think there's a great amount of importance for us on the positive side of things. You know, you wanna get that fourth win in a row. You want to go into the break on a high to where, you know, it's only up from here. You know, for the same reason I said it's great right now being a Palace fan is the same reason why we want to go into this with the right attitude and hopefully get the positive outcome from it, is because we're trending in the right direction. You know what I mean? And the way that we're seeing the possible trajectory of the club right now is what you want from this match. You know, you want to see us go in, play well, get the 3 points, and go into that break, that time off that we're going to need in preparation to where, you know, when we come back for the Fulham match, we're still on a high and we're ready to keep ascending. You know what I mean? That's what you want to see. That's why this game has an importance, because of the fact that, number one, it's a match where we should get a decision based on the way that we've been playing, based on the caliber of opponents that we've beaten, and the way that both we've done on the road and at home. This is a match that we should go in and we should be taken seriously, and we should be getting the decision from, and then getting off to the training in Marbella to, you know, continue the upward trajectory.
Yeah. In terms of the league table, we're only 6 behind Villa and Fulham, so there's still that hope. That hope, but and that is the reason why this game has significance. And I liked what Glasner said as well. I liked the fact that, you know, he's not taking it lightly. Like, he's like, I'm confident that we can go get the win because the players are still locked in. Because there was a question, once again, it related to JP about, you know, are the players worried? How are their mental state after it? And he kind of said what I thought was the case anyways. He's like, we were worried at the time because we weren't too sure what's going on. But after the game, when we found out and the players that spoke to him, like coming back from training, coming back from the 2-day break after the game, the players, like, he's like, it's not even like a factor that we're talking about. Like, JP's fine. So,
and that's why, and that's why these guys are professional athletes. They're professional athletes.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't a high school team that lose the best player and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if we could do it, or our season might be ruined. It's like, no, these are professional athletes, man. They live their life by next man up, you know, because we didn't take that type of outlook when we didn't have Adam Wharton, who was by far our best midfielder. No, Will Hughes stepped up and we played lights out. Like, that's what you expect. So I fully expect a guy like Eddie Nketiah to step in and ball and do his thing, because that's what we got him for. That's the reason why we spent the money to get him. It's because in the event that we lose a guy like JP for any amount of time, you've got a guy that steps in immediately and can play and can do it and can produce.
Yeah, and that is exactly what we need. And the league table is like the one thing that I just keep looking at, because it's like once that gap is closed, literally, like right now, Fulham are only 2 points below Newcastle, and that they're sick. Like, if we just get involved in that pack, it just gives you something to look forward to. We still got an FA Cup game as well. And you end it strong. Like, this game, if we manage to get a win, we're looking up rather than down. But this is a big game for Palace to prove themselves at home, because after this, we've got Southampton as well. Those are 2 games I'm looking at the league to say, you know, if we get wins in those games, then we might be there with the Brightons and the Fulhams that are doing well so far this season, and all the other teams, even like Bournemouth. Bournemouth are only 1 point above Villa and Fulham. So
And even
and they're going to be facing each other. Some of these teams are now going to start facing each other, so teams are going to drop points. So in terms of this game, for example, we can even look at the fixtures. I think Glasner and the team, I think everyone realizes, like, if we can beat Ipswich, some of these teams will be dropping points. So the gap closes. Like, it just gives you that one thing to look forward to.
It's favorable matchups. Like, this is a really favorable matchup today, this week. It's a very favorable matchup for us because we're going against a team like Ipswich at the bottom of the table, and those other teams that we talked about are going against each other. So it stands to be a situation where we can make up a lot of room.
Yeah, because in terms of fixtures, you have Brighton versus Fulham, Brentford versus Aston Villa on the weekend. What else have you got? You got Tottenham versus Bournemouth. So Tottenham are right below us, but of course we'll see what they do against Bournemouth. West Ham, Newcastle. So there's two teams anyways. Brentford, Aston Villa, Brighton, Fulham, for example. Four teams that are above us in that instance that will be dropping points. So if we can do our job, we are still looking up. Even if we lose, we're looking up. Yeah, even if we lose, we are looking up. But then the gap could widen depending on the result.
Because you said it's Brentford, Aston Villa, right?
Yeah, exactly. If Aston
let's say
win,
if Brentford if they tie, if they have a draw and we win, then we'll be even on points with Brentford. I guess depending on the result of that, but if Villa win, they go up to 45 points. Yeah. But we then would move into 11th place.
If we draw, for example, and Villa win, then that could go to like 8 points. So like we're still looking up, but it becomes a bit harder. It becomes a bit more difficult. There's no reason for Palace to draw this game, like no reason, or to lose this game. Like in terms of expectation should be to go there and get win against Ipswich.
The expectation has to be to go.
They have a lot of injuries. We spoke about it, but I think they had a pre-match press conference today as well, and they've got a lot of injuries. So the standards are pretty much set for Palace to try and reach. It's we're playing catch up. There's a reason why we're playing catch up because of the slow start to the season, and that's the reason why there isn't that much margin for error, especially in our next two league games. But focus on Ipswich first. The problem is that some of the teams below us might also have a strong end to the season. Well, that's fine as long as we have a strong end to our season. That's all that matters. So it's in our hands. We're going to be facing teams above us as well. Ipswich, for example, it should be a game where we're looking to win. We're looking to win. What else did he say?
39.
Yeah. He also mentioned there wasn't that much that he mentioned in his press conference because it was like JP talk. He did say about the players being nominated. Glasner's been nominated for Manager of the Month, JP for Player of the Month, and Munoz today, I believe, won Goal of the Month and Palace Player of the Month. So about that, he basically downplayed it. He said that everything we achieve as a team. As a manager, you're nothing without your players. I never care about personal awards. Everything is about the team. Everything is about Crystal Palace. Just about that, like I didn't expect him to say anything different, but you can just tell from the group of players and how they even speak post-game about following the manager's plan and the vibe around the camp. Glasner's got these players behind his back, and it's such it's such a boost to have in these run of games as well, especially when he talks about the players and him being confident and in terms of how they prepare for the game and train for the game against Ipswich. He's basically downplayed all personal awards, and I hear it, man. I hear it. Coming into the season, it's all about winning the big award, which for us would be the FA Cup in this instance because we're not winning the Premier League. Be aware the underdog, we're used to being us. We should win, but we shouldn't take them lightly. Yeah, but Glasner spoke about this animal. He did speak about this. Like he's saying, like the players have prepared properly for this game.
And he's put it out there that we're not taking anything lightly. We're not taking anything. That's why in cup matches against Doncaster and against Millwall, they're seeing A-side teams. We're not putting out weaker teams. No, you're going to get our best every time, and that's what I expect us to do with Ipswich as well. So I think that's the mentality that we have to have. It's like it doesn't matter who our opponent is. It doesn't matter what the scenario is. They're going to get our best shot every single time. That's how you don't get caught off your game is going into every single one, taking it seriously with the same mentality each and every time.
Yeah. If you haven't already done so, people, if you're enjoying it, please hit the like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel. I mean, our own expectations as fans rather than the team mentality. Yeah.
Well, my expectation as a fan is not us to just go in and Ipswich to roll over. No, we're gonna go in and we're gonna do our thing as per usual. And I think that's the thing. Like I said, once again, that is that piece of optimism right now about being a fan of our club is that we have a club that we know we're gonna go in every single game and take it seriously. And I think I think we as fans would do a lot to adopt the mentality of our manager.
My expectation for this game, I'm not even downplaying Ipswich. I'm saying it has to be a win. I don't want to downplay Palace. We beat them away from home whilst not playing the football that we're playing right now. Of course, JP's a big miss, but they've got a lot of injuries as well, just like Everton did. But then again, Palace have kind of proven in the last 2 games. So if we play it as we have done, I think we've got enough to beat this Ipswich side, and we should be beating them because it'll be a bit of a, I mean, mood killer if we drew or lost against Ipswich.
Because who was it in the chat that made a good point of, the last time we were having this conversation about going up against a team that was lower than us in the standings, that had a lot of injuries, we lost that match. Yeah, and it was Everton. You know what I mean? So my hope is that our manager is saying the exact same thing to our to the team. It's like, hey, we were in this same situation a few short weeks ago. We're going against a team that was lower than us in the standings, that we feel like we know we should win against, that had a lot of injuries, and we lost. You know what I'm saying? Keep that in the back of your mind. Humble yourself, go in, bust your butts. Let's get the result, but understand that nobody's laying down for us. Nobody's rolling over for us.
Yeah, I think we got that kind of the vibe anyways after that defeat, because we have responded well. We have responded well ever since.
Absolutely. I mean, since then, it's been laser focused, which is exactly what you want to see.
Exactly. We're going to move on to a bit of transfer news as well, as you can see from the title. So if you have any questions, by the way, people, if you're new to the channel, because we used to do these before and we stopped doing Palace news, but I'll put it in the chat. Just put a Q and a dot before it, and then we'll pin it. If you don't, then that's fine. We'll wrap up at the end of the show, but we'll answer these after we talk about the transfer news. So yeah, feel free to send them in. And that's just about anything Palace related before we wrap up. Now, let's move on to the transfer news. That is that there are reports out there that Manchester United are considering a summer move for Crystal Palace striker Jean-Philippe Mateta. Let me start off with this. How much do you think Mateta's worth?
Man, especially because how strikers are, I need 90.
Yeah, I just think it's just rubbish paper talk.
Here's the thing, like, just thinking about what they paid for Rasmus Haaland, for instance.
70.
You know what I'm saying? They paid 70 for Haaland, and that was a guy who hadn't played in the Premier League, who hadn't showed his ability and acumen in the Premier League. And they paid 70 for him. They paid 70 off of potential. Well, if you pay 70 off of potential, you're going to pay this 90 off of production, because JP is giving you production in this league. So
I don't see Man United putting in a serious bid for Palace.
I think they would put in a bid. I don't think JP would want to go there. That's what I will say. I don't think JP would want to go there. I don't think he would.
Yeah, I remember when he first joined, he was talking about a step up, but I don't know if Man United right now is that much of a step up.
Exactly.
Probably want to join a club that's playing European football, because I don't even think
exactly. He wants to play for someone who's consistently playing European football, and that's not Man United.
About JP, I don't want to talk more about Man United. I want to talk about JP a bit more. Do you think he deserves that new deal at this point? We say this every week, it feels like, but just give him the new contract.
I felt like, because I remember saying this about JP going into this year, was that he would be deserving of the contract if he continues to show his quality in this season.
Yeah, I agreed with
and
you
I'm
there.
at a point, and I think we're comfortably at a point now to say that last year, what we saw from him last season was not just it wasn't just a good year, a lucky year. Like, this guy can consistently produce at this level, and he's doing it. So now I think the conversation is, hey, let's give him this deal. Like, now he's showing his quality. This is quality. This wasn't just form over a season. This is his true quality as a player.
Yeah,
So
and
I think it's deserving of the talk.
Yeah, 100%. He deserves it with the goals that he's scoring. Not just the goals, his overall play. He's a significant player and a very important player in this team. So yeah, I think he deserves the pay rise. I think we should give him a new deal. And when he's been linked to clubs like Man United, for example, which I don't really see that happening because of their financial situation and how much we would demand for JP. He's going in the right direction and has been, and we kind of agreed. I remember having this talk before the season started. Like, let's just see how the season ends, because the end of the season, well, he had a good season last season. It's like, let's see how he does this season rather than how it ends. And yeah, he's improving. He's not even dropping off. He's improving. So if there's anything, give him the money. Yes, United are broke. 105k for Kamada. So yes. Does Mateta want to stay? I think he's happy right now.
That's a question too. That's a question as well. Like,
it depends on the club that are after him, because I do get a vibe that he would want to leave for a bigger club, but there's no indication that JP's sulking or anything. Like, there's been none of that indication this season. He's been a top professional despite maybe wanting to move to a bigger club,
and he seems extremely happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he's enjoying himself. He's enjoying his football. He's a loved figure at the club. He's in one of the largest and most well-known cities in the world. There's a lot going for him right now. Now, us qualifying for some type of European competition will definitely help our prospects with keeping him. Same with a guy like Mark Gahey. If we can win the FA Cup and get a berth, or somehow have an amazing run to the end of the season in the Premier League standings, of course, those types of things, having those types of things in the negotiation table makes it more fruitful for us with him staying. But
yeah, let's see what happens with that. Now, before we end the show, let's go through questions, if there's any questions. So there's one from Animal. If you have any question, you can put a Q&A dot before it as well, and we'll answer it. He's saying lots of talk about Wharton out there needing to be in the England team. Seems like people are starting to realize what we already know. Is the feeling he could leave for a huge club rising? We kind of debated this the other day, me, AJ, and Lou, but I don't see it happening this summer. I just don't think Palace would want to sell him. I think some clubs may test the waters, but I just don't see anyone paying at the price tag that Palace would want, which is around 80 to 100 million pounds, is my guess. So I don't see him leaving.
My thing is, I think as a club, you have to be ready for whatever. We have to be ready for that offer to come in. And I think that's just the business side of it. Because if Real Madrid comes in with 100, which they have proven that they will do and have done in the past, the conversation then changes, and it has to be something that we consider. Because
do you see Real paying 100 this summer, though, T? I just don't see that happening.
I mean, they did it for Bellingham, and Bellingham was balling at the time too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it may not be this summer. It may not, and that's true. But at the same time, they may view it as, hey, if we don't do it this summer, we may have way too much competition next summer. So I mean, all I'm saying is, I think we have to be ready for any and all scenarios as a fan base, as a club. Like, they got to be ready for that to happen, because it could.
Yeah, it could, but I just don't see it happening. Hopefully, I'm right. Not wrong.
I mean, I would love for you to be right, because I would love for you to be right, just because of the fact, especially because we don't know how this season is going to penultimately end. And the way it ends could command so much of what we want from the summer, because if we find ourselves in a European competition next year, then we definitely want to try to keep a guy like that.
I don't even think it's about Europe. I think even if we're not in Europe, I just don't see him leaving the summer. Palace would try their best to keep him. And yeah, especially with Glasner's contract coming up, it'll just show a lot of sign of like optimism as well, even for him, I guess, in that aspect. So yeah, let's just see. Only I guess time will tell. When is Mateta returning? According to Glasner, and it's pretty much press
conference. Hopefully for Fulham.
Yeah, hopefully for Fulham, which would be massive positive to have him for the quarterfinal tie. Who he really caused a lot of trouble at Craven Cottage. I was there, so that was good. Who starts in goal against Fulham? Very early preview, but Henderson, does he come back in for Matt Turner?
I think it's Matt Turner. I think
surely not.
My thing is Glasner has shown loyalty to his process and to his players. And in being that Glasner's that type of guy, he's going to say that to this point, against all opponents in this competition, Matt Turner has shown his ability, has shown his acumen. It's his ball. And
it's been against weak opposition, though. It's a Premier League side. I don't start Turner. I'm sorry, but I won't. Let us know in the chat what you lot think.
Who was in goal when we beat Aston Villa?
What?
Who was in goal when we beat Aston Villa?
Yeah, Turner.
Exactly. So he's going against a team just as good as Fulham, if not better this season, and he did really, really well.
But that was in the quarterfinals, though.
It's not the point. It's the point is we could have lost that match and been done. Am I right?
Well, you know, the goal we conceded against Villa. Wasn't Turner really? Wasn't he partly at fault or no? I can't remember.
I cannot. That was no, because that was one that Morgan Rogers scored. That was the one that Morgan that second one that Morgan Rogers scored. That wasn't on him. But what I'm saying is he started in a match against a Premier League opponent in that cup that if we lost it, we'd have been done. It would have been over with. There wasn't a second chance. Just like this one.
Nothing.
I would not be surprised. All I'm saying is I would not be surprised in any form or fashion if Oliver Glasner decided to stay the course with Matt Turner. Is all I'm saying.
Turner could do the job, but it's too risky. Chris says Hendo returns. It has to be Hendo for me. A week. And
that was not a weak Villa team. That was not a weak Villa team. He went against Ollie Watkins as striker. They had Morgan Rogers. They had Jacob. That was not a weak Villa squad by any means.
Let me find this. It was John Duran who scored a goal. Who did it? That Philogene. Yeah, it was that game. It was. No.
What?
Yeah, it was.
The cup match. John Duran wasn't even playing for them when we played him in the cup.
Yes, he was. It was John Duran. Kamada scored. It was Duran, Bailey, Philogene, McGinn was there. Diego Carlos, Tyrone Mings, Matson. It was John Duran.
Is that a weak squad to you? Is that a weak squad to you? Did John Duran just went to for 77 million something like that?
No. But
that's not a weak team.
I need to watch the goal again. I can't remember. I just felt like Turner could have done a bit better from what I remember from that game, but I can't remember the goal. That's a crazy thing. That's the only memory I have. I feel like he could have done a bit better. But I start Henderson, man. I really do. I don't think it's a weak Villa side.
I get the argument for both sides, but if I'm thinking about what we've seen from Ollie Glasner, I think Glasner is going to stay with Turner. But I mean, let me be honest, I'm fine either way. But
yeah, I don't think I'll be fine with Turner, but yeah. John says, well, Glasner actually said it was on loyalty or rotation. He said that Turner deserved his chance versus Millwall. I think the opposition plays a part as well. But then again, the Villa game, I guess, it helps your point, T, because, yeah, they are a strong side and he still started. But I think in the quarterfinals, you play no games. You go with Henderson in goal. And that was a team that beat Fulham not too long ago. Henderson started in goal and, he had a comfortable day. Not that he had to make a lot of saves, but yeah, I'd go with that personally. But I guess we'll stop the conversation here because when the preview comes, clearly there's a talking point right there, which I'll take into consideration for the Fulham game. Seek says, if we win all the games from now on and win the FA Cup, yes, Wolves will go up to 100 million. But that's not going to happen, is it? Win all of our games, go unbeaten from here to the rest of the season. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not even unbeaten, win all of our games. Come on, man. If we win all of our games, we'll play Champions League next year.
It would deserve a documentary.
Yeah, exactly. Not all of our games. That's just very ambitious. By the way, if you haven't already done so, hit the like button, people. It helps us out a lot. Let's see if there's any other questions before we wrap up. Turner is a reliable keeper. I trust him, says Truth. People are still talking about this. Just like how Henderson started a cup game against Arsenal, I think he'll come in for Fulham. I think that's a good point.
That's a good point too. That's a very good point. And like I said, once again, it could be a reality.
Yeah, exactly. And that was a quarterfinal game as well of the League Cup. Yeah, the Arsenal game. So he started in for the quarterfinals. And I think he will start Henderson as well, personally. Hussein, Villa sub team is not weak by any means, but we just have their number. Yep. But look, people, we're going to wrap up now. If you haven't already done so, go to the start of the show where we talk about Oliver Glasner's key talking points from the pre-match press conference and the significance of this game for us, as well as some transfer news related to Mateta. If you have enjoyed this, drop a like, subscribe. Tomorrow, live watch along. Lou and Tim will be there. So make sure to join us for that. And then afterwards, a live match reaction as well. So loads of content coming through. Preview for the game out, opposition preview out as well. So loads of content. Go check it out. And until next time, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.